The day is January 4th, the year of our Lord 2026. It's a cold, snowy night in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. What once was a proud AFC North has devolved into a cesspool of defensive incompetence. Not a single stop, nor a single punt is to be found as the Ravens' Steelers joust for the division title. Deep in the heart of Ravens territory, Aaron Rodgers finds DK Metcalf for a pitch and catch touchdown, making the score 63-61 Steelers with just 26 seconds left on the clock. With no timeouts, Lamar dumps it off to Derrick Henry because the Steelers are still playing man defense with no remorse in Week 18. Henry rumbles for 34 yards and gets out of bounds. Lamar then finds DeAndre Hopkins for his 12th catch of the game for a 21-yard gain, and Tyler Loop nails the 43-yard field goal as time expires to give the Ravens the 64-63 victory and their fourth straight AFC North title. The Steelers miss the playoffs, finishing the prescribed 9-8. It is foreseen. It is written.
Welcome back to the somehow disappointing 2025 regular season. We had a primetime at-home game, unveiling of brand new jerseys, Rodgers against his old team, the fall cold weather finally coming into Pittsburgh, everything you could want for a Steelers home Sunday night playoff game, only to see nothing but a collapse on the field from almost start to finish. And really, going to last week, that bad taste in the mouth is no longer a taste. It has become an entire texture, and I think is sitting in every single Pittsburgh Steelers fans after Sunday night.
Yeah. Welcome back to Boardman Black and Gold. Here we are. We're 9-8. That's what we are. That's exactly what we are. We are 9-8. We have never stunk more of 9-8 in our entire existence.
No. And I mean, we just don't look good. Like, we look fine, not defensively, all right? But offensively, we look fine. And watching the team, it's like, yeah, we're not the worst team in the league. But you know what kind of team we are? We're a 9-8 team. That's what we look like. And it's just year after year. It doesn't matter who's quarterback. This game, for me, got off on the wrong foot because in my mind, I was like Aaron Rodgers' revenge game. But all Mike Tirico and Chris Collinsworth could say was how Aaron Rodgers was like, it's not a revenge game. I love Green Bay. Like, I love everybody over there. I just want to play football. Nothing about revenge. That stunk in my mouth because I was like, well, great. That's what helps us beat the Jets. And now we don't have that. And, I mean, oh, my gosh. I'm appalled. The biggest, there's a lot of issues. How the heck were the Green Bay Packers fans able to get go pack go chants in like every 5 minutes? Like, that's not something that our Steelers nation lets happen. How did we let that happen on a Sunday night primetime game? That just upsets me that upsets me more than the loss that we let that happen in our home field.
Well, it's funny because you haven't even really mentioned anything that has happened on the field yet in this game. Those are two things that are off the field. And like you said, they get you out on the wrong foot and they get that sour taste in your mouth. And it's funny because most of the week I've been thinking about that whole fact that this is not really a revenge game for Aaron Rodgers because he really doesn't have any animosity towards Green Bay, which I feel like the media was pushing that narrative all week. And then only for the sideline reporters pregame to be like, no, this is not a revenge game. And, for one, that's like, okay, makes me hate the media even more because all it takes is just a little bit of IQ to understand that, no, this is not a revenge game. But then for them to go back and say, okay, yeah, he really doesn't have that chip on the shoulder in this matchup this week, despite the fact that the guy on the other sideline, Jordan Love, kind of does have that chip on the shoulder. This is his opportunity. This is his chance to say, yes, I am the franchise quarterback for the Green Bay Packers, and it was the right move for Green Bay to move on from Aaron Rodgers because Aaron Rodgers still has some left in the tank, as we've seen as Steelers fans this year. But Jordan Love made the most of his opportunity, and we made him look like we made him look like the greatest thing ever. And I don't think either you or I think he is even close to the greatest thing ever.
No, we talked about that in our analyzation of his upcoming game last week. And, like, he's just not that great. Like, he makes mistakes. I didn't realize that his interception was, yeah, I think he only has 2 so far this year. I didn't realize how low that was because last year, it was high. So obviously there's some growth, but still, there's passes, there's throws that don't look good. And, like, statistically, man, he looked like an MVP out there. But I mean, it goes back to, like, okay, yeah, I mean, when you can just throw a ball in the air and, in a general direction and know that my guy's probably going to come away with it, anybody is going to is going to have a perfect passer rating or whatever when you can do what he was able to do, which, I mean, man, you want to start with the defense?
Well, I feel like the defense is just kind of like the embodiment of this whole game. And it's the big problem right now because, frankly, like you kind of alluded to, the offense is not the problem. The offense is doing fine. They kind of sputtered in the third quarter a little bit, and that really allowed the Packers to get things going offensively themselves. But you can't blame anything on this offense. Jaylen Warren ran well. Aaron Rodgers threw well. They did fine offensively. This is not the problem of years past where we can't move the football. We can move the football. It's the defense that can't stop a light breeze. And it was like early on, they actually did get a couple of stops. The first touchdown that they had to Tucker Kraft, that drive was not good. Darius Slay, he had a terrible game for the most part. I think he had 2 back-to-back plays that were decent. But other than that, like, Darius Slay had a really awful game. JPJ, was up and down. He probably could have gotten called for even some more penalties than he was. And then Deshaun Elliott is getting beaten on this one duck of a throw, and he gets hurt, and now he's probably out for the year. So there's your center fielder. Yeah. There's your Minkah Fitzpatrick. He's done. I don't know if it's not a good thing. I'm not going to say that's a good thing because it's never a good thing when a guy gets hurt. But, as far as, how the defense has gone, does it really matter who's out there or not? Because it doesn't seem like that matters at all.
Well, it really doesn't. And I think it's when you've got someone so stubborn I don't know who's calling the plays, all right? Like, I'm not going to call a name out. We know the 2 names that control the defense, right? Terrell Austin and Mike Tomlin. I don't know which one has more control. But how are you that stubborn-headed to when, last week, a complete fail when you over-blitz and, go with the man. And then, this entire game was the same thing, right? We brought pressure, or we beat man, and once again, we're failing. You'd think by the third or fourth quarter, we'd be like, all right, let's check down a zone. Maybe they're like, I don't know, maybe they love how Joey Porter Jr. plays man, so they're like, screw every other guy in the secondary. You're just going to have to deal with it. Darius Slay, we know that you're older and you probably should be playing only zone. Who cares? You're going to be in man. And I think the biggest problem, I think our secondary, I don't have anything good to say except Jalen Ramsey. I think Jalen Ramsey's the only person who's, making a heck of any difference in the secondary. And even up front, because my biggest problem, too, with all the blitzing, stop blitzing. We bring 6 guys, and we can't get there. We bring 6 guys, and he's got 5 seconds to throw. Like,
0 sacks this week. 0 sacks. They had 0 sacks.
And, I have a specific message to TJ Watt. TJ Watt, first off, I love you. But second off, I'm done defending you against Myles Garrett and against, other people. Because guess what? Years past, yes, I'll defend you. And yes, you're amazing. You're the only guy ever to lead the league 3 times in sacks. But are you getting 5 sacks in a game? Are you doing all these other things like we were talking about, the PFF rating? And it's like, you know what? I'm done. I'm done defending that. Go do something to make a difference. Go actually record a full sack. When's the last time you've gotten 1 full sack in a game, TJ Watt? That's your only job. Go and do it. Same with Highsmith. Same with Hayward. It's unbelievable. The entire defense is not performing to their job, yet they're the highest paid. Yet this secondary was completely built for this year, and yet they are utterly abysmal.
The funny thing is, too, I think Nick Herbig played, the number I saw was 24% of the snaps this week. And they didn't think to switch things up at all to be like, hey, let's get Nick Herbig a shot. I don't know if you know this, but he leads the team with 4.5 sacks right now. And he's doing it on a limited snap count. I don't even know if he's played 40% of the snaps this season, and he's the guy that's getting home. TJ Watt can't get home. Alex Highsmith can't get home. Cam Hayward, he's been stopping the run. That's great. And we actually have been stopping the run better, which is even more upsetting to me, because early on in the year, it was like, oh my gosh, we can't stop the run. This week against Josh Jacobs, he didn't really do a whole lot of anything. So we were stopping the run. But it doesn't matter because Jordan Love is sitting there in the pocket with no pressure, chucking up ducks left and right that are just floating in the air like a cloud in the sky, and it just somehow always comes down into the hands of a Green Bay wide receiver or Tucker Kraft, whom, again, tight ends we just continue to have troubles with. So it's a completely... It's mind-boggling. Like, how is this defense so awful? How? I don't get it. I don't understand it.
I don't either. Like, I think it is hand in hand that guys that should be playing Hall of Fame caliber type football, you know, TJ Watt, Cam Hayward, you could argue Jalen Ramsey, and then other guys that should be playing all pro like Highsmith. Well, let me think. I mean, I think, you know, Peyton Wilson, I don't know, he's been awfully quiet, but everybody has. But like these guys that should be playing at such this like extreme level, I think that it's hand in hand. They're just not performing up to snuff. But I think it is also equally they are getting zero help from their coaching staff. I think that I can admit, looking out there, watching these past few games, that guys just aren't doing anything spectacular. They aren't doing anything out of the ordinary like they're known to do that Mike Tomlin has relied on. And I think that, you know, as a coaching staff, it appears that we can't fix that. If our guys don't make spectacular plays, well, I guess our defense stinks now. You know, we can't rely on just routine plays. Like our guys. Yeah, I mean, this fully falls on the head of Tomlin and Austin. And what are you going to do? Because, you know, they hit and ran behind a different quarterback every year. Offense couldn't figure it out. Our defense is good. Like that, let's hide behind that. What are you hiding behind now? Your defense is crap, and it's the highest pace.
Right. They have nothing to hide behind now because their little baby is getting exposed. And the whole thing is, too, their game plan is getting exposed because their entire game plan that we've talked about this year, which we've said is not a sustainable business operation, is that they rely on turnovers. They have not had a turnover since they played in Ireland. We were just waiting this entire game. Okay, when's that big turnover going to happen? Okay, they just played Renegade. Usually that's supposed to mean something. I have a question for you, David. When is the last time you remember that Renegade actually did something in a Steelers game?
You know, I didn't want to say anything, but a long time. It is sad. I feel like more often than not these past few years, when Renegades played, like specifically when I've been at a game, I've been like, oh gosh. Like, that's my thought after Renegade. It was like, here we go, 50-yard bomb, or like, I guarantee you there's a statistic of the past few years of the very first play after Renegade is at least 10 yards.
I would absolutely agree, because I'm thinking the same thing. I forget who it was. I think it was Emmanuel Wilson. Immediately after Renegade, 15-yard run. And then you're done for.
Yeah, I mean, what is going on in your head that you're like, oh, you're a Steelers player, like guys that have been Steelers their entire career, they know what Renegade means. I mean, what's happened to that? The next play, you're just out of it? You're just like, oh, so I lost focus. How do you lose focus after your like entire stadium is roaring at the team song? The output that our players are putting on the field, the team that Tomlin has put out there is just pathetic. And I stopped watching once the lead got up to double digits, because I had to get up early for work. But I mean, I'm to the point where it's like, man, you know what, Tomlin, Watt, all these guys, make it worth my time. Like, make it a team that I want to watch. I've always been an NFL fan over college football, but I want to watch college football more than I do want to watch the Steelers. And I think we were similar to this in like 2022, but it's just like, come on, like put something out there that I'm like, oh yeah, like this is my team. Like we said last night, like we're relying heavily on the Penguins right now because they actually look good. I can't remember when's the last time that we've looked like good, and we've been like, oh, I can't wait to watch this game. Like it's just right back to, oh, here we go. Like next week, oh gosh, I just like I'm like, are you kidding? Like I don't want to watch next week. Um, this, oh, it's just
We're in a very rough spot. And 2 weeks ago, we were not. And that just shows you how quickly things can turn on a dime when it comes to this franchise. And it's funny because they've almost conditioned me to have this sense of dread in the pits of my stomach. And it's funny because I think the both of us, we were almost trying to flip the narrative in last week. When we made our predictions that we thought this was going to be a win, legitimately, I thought that was the truth. I wasn't going against my instincts. I was thinking, okay, this team I think is different. I think it was a fluke that they lose to the Bengals. I think it's a fluke that they lose to Joe Flacco every time he goes out there. It's different this year. But the thing is that we just saw a couple of nights ago, it's not different. This is the exact same team. This is the exact same 9-8 team that we have known for the last 10 years that's going to either sneak into the playoffs or they're going to miss by one game and they're going to be in it until the very end. And in that January 4th game against the Baltimore Ravens, which will undoubtedly be a Sunday night football game, the final NFL game of the season, we're going to do exactly that. We're going to give up a ton of points. We're going to score a lot of points and we're going to lose the division and what should have been our AFC North title. I mean, that should have been ours. And again, notice how I didn't say the Bengals. I didn't say the Bengals because they lost this week. They lost to the 0-7 Jets. Justin Fields is a forever Steeler, giving us an opportunity this week to say, okay, I saw what you did on Thursday Night Football. You dropped the ball, but I'm going to give you a second chance. I'm going to give you a new opportunity to redeem yourself on Sunday night against the Packers, and all things will be forgiven. My name is Justin Fields. I am your forever Steeler. I am always looking out for you. Pookie Bear, beloved, I don't care. He's the best. He does that for us. And we go out and we take the opportunity and absolutely squander it. And oh, by the way, Lamar Jackson didn't play this week for the Baltimore Ravens. And they won a game. And now he's coming back this week, and they're going to start winning games again. I guarantee you. What did I say like 3 weeks ago? They will be in contention by week 17. They absolutely will.
Well, I completely agree. I like knew like even though he's a Raven, obviously, I love Harbaugh. I think that Harbaugh is a great coach. I think he's better than Mike Tomlin. He's not the perfect coach because you haven't gone to a Super Bowl. But again, like those reasons are because of one play, not an entire game. But yeah, I mean this division was ours for the taking. It still kind of is because we're the only one with a winning record by 2 games. Like no one else has a winning record by 2 games. So we still this division still is ours if we want it. Even though, yes, the Ravens are going to come back and they're going to do something. And yeah, I mean, we lost to the Bengals, who lost to the winless Jets. The team that beat us couldn't beat a winless team. It's pitiful. I think that it's just so frustrating. But yeah, I'll thank you, Justin Fields, for that win. And yeah, I think that, we didn't want to talk about offensively, but offensively, the only things I'd say was I think our game plan has some issues and needs worked on. Like we both texted in our group chat that in the second half specifically, and I think that we did this last week too, it just seemed that we gave up on the run game and just like forgot to run and just started throwing more. And it's like that's when our offense starts to struggle, I think. And I'm not saying this is necessarily a bad thing, but I'm just getting flashbacks to 2020 and 2021 when Ben had the quickest, pass, like he would throw it the fastest out of any quarterbacks, and like Aaron Rodgers is starting to look like that. And I'm just getting flashbacks to that, and I know how that ended, but I still think that, Aaron Rodgers had a great game. Offensively, really nobody had a game that was like bad, in my opinion. So, yeah, I don't know. But looking forward, especially next week, but looking as at the broad season, I mean, I'm not excited about what's going to happen, especially because guess what? We're not going to be playing the 1-7 Jets. We're not going to be playing the Vikings who didn't have their starting quarterback. We're going to be playing the Detroit Lions, the Buffalo Bills. We're about to play the best team in the NFL. Like the Ravens twice. It's not gonna. It's gonna get a lot harder. So, oh, I don't know.
Let me read you our next several games.
Okay.
Indianapolis Colts, Los Angeles Chargers, Cincinnati Bengals, Chicago Bears, Buffalo Bills, Baltimore Ravens, the Miami Dolphins. And man, if they lose that game, oh boy, we're going to have a field day. And then the Detroit Lions, the Cleveland Browns in Cleveland, and the Baltimore Ravens. How many more games do you think this team is going to win?
Well, I'll tell you what, when you were saying that, I was counting how many I think we'll lose. And I think we're going to lose. I think that it's a guarantee or like a locked in, we're going to lose 5 of those games just based off who we're playing. And guess what that puts us at? Do you know what that puts us at? That puts us at 9-8.
Every year, baby.
It's ridiculous. You know, I mean, man, it is like Mike Tomlin, like meticulously, like he's got like, you know, the parallel of like a murder board with all the strings and with all the things, and it's like all these things go in place so that I can be 9-8. Like, I like, oh man, I don't get it. I don't know how he does it, but that's where we're headed. That is right where we're going. But yeah, I think these next few weeks, Steelers fans need to hunker down because it's going to be a rough stretch here.
Winter is coming and it is going to get cold.
Real quick.
Well, shout out to Joseph for kind of putting this thought into our minds that this team looks 9-8. I think it was just a simple text that he gave in our little text thread. He was just like, this team reeks of 9-8. And I couldn't agree more because that's exactly how I'm feeling right now.
Oh, I completely agree. And another, you sent this into the group chat. Another thing that makes us seem 9-8 is that we're going to sign Marquez Valdez-Scantling. I mean, oh, if that's not like, what the heck? Like, what? Who? Like, my goodness. I'd rather Roman Wilson, honestly, especially with the game he had last week. And Calvin Austin, screw whatever. But yeah, I just am like, okay, like that's gonna help us. That's gonna put us over the 9-8 hill. I don't think so, but moving into next week, we got, like I previously mentioned, the best team in the NFL. They look like they can do no wrong. Daniel Jones has become a franchise quarterback. He's looking like the 2022 Daniel Jones, who led the Giants to the playoffs. What are your thoughts going into next week? We are home. I will say we are home. We do pretty well against the Colts when we're home, but it's the 7-1 Colts.
Well, the whole thing about it is, I mean, it doesn't seem like when we play teams outside of the Cleveland Browns at home that we can do anything very good. So with that, you know, frankly, I don't think it matters where the heck we play from here on out because, you know, what should be a home field advantage, what should be a distinct home field advantage just does not seem to be one this year. And, you know, I don't know if that's because Steeler Nation is not showing out the way that we're used to it doing. I mean, I don't think that's necessarily the case. I think the Packers fan base is just exceptional. I mean, they're probably, I mean, I would say they're probably the NFC version of the Steelers, where they travel really well. They've got these ballistic fans that really do a lot of wild stuff, and they're very loud fans. So I give Green Bay some credit for that, and you know, I don't necessarily think that that's terrible, but you know, if it's getting to the point where, you know, we see this upcoming home game and there's a bunch of Colts fans in the stands, then I'm going to start to get a little bit like, okay, what the heck's happening? But in the same way, the Colts, they are 7-1, which is ridiculous. Daniel Jones has 2,000 passing yards already. Jonathan Taylor has 850 rushing yards and 12 touchdowns. I mean, if he doesn't win MVP, I don't know what we're doing because that's ridiculous. And in a week where we started to stop the run, I mean, it's going to go right back to where it was, I would have to think.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, yeah. First off, if Jonathan Taylor, if he keeps doing what he's doing, doesn't win the MVP, that's 3 years in a row that I think that the NFL has just said, like, giving the bird to running backs because, especially in 2023, when there was really no quarterback that should have gotten it, and Christian McCaffrey had an amazing year, and they were just like, nah, no thanks. Lamar, you played horrible. Let's give it to you. Yeah, it would mean nothing if he does what he's been doing and he doesn't win. Like, I would just completely forget about that award. But yeah, I think that there's no reason he's not going to keep doing what he's been doing. I think that he's going to have a great time against our defense. I think Daniel Jones also is going to have a good time. Who's the head coach of the Colts? I forget his name. Is it Steichen, Joe Steichen or something? Uh,
Shane Steichen.
Shane Steichen. He is, I think, 1-0 against us. That was when we were 7-4 and then lost 3 games in 2023, and one of them was to the horrendous Colts. Or I don't know if they were that. Oh no, he's 2-0 against us because then the Joe Flacco game. So yeah, I have zero hope. My expectations are rock bottom for this game. I think Daniel Jones will ball out. I think Jonathan Taylor will have a great game. I think that they have a solid enough defense that our offense isn't going to do anything crazy. Yeah, I think that this could be our worst game yet.
I have that feeling too, and it's interesting because their defense isn't like their defense actually kind of reminds me of our defenses of past, where it's bend don't break. Like they give up a lot of yards, but they don't give up a lot of points. I think they're only giving up 19 points a game this season, which in a way, it's because they just possess the ball the entire time and they don't ever let the other team have the football, which in a way is another problem that the Steelers have had. We aren't possessing the football very much because the other team just has the ball the entire game. So when our offense gets on the field, it's usually doing okay. But the thing is, we don't have our offense on the field very often. So again, that's another problem that is going back to that complimentary football conversation we had a couple of weeks ago. It's just not going the way that we want it to go. So if you're expecting it to go any differently this week, I mean, I don't know what to tell you, but I think your expectations are skewed.
Right. Oh, I completely agree. And yeah, I mean, I think that it bodes well for us that if they give up yards and their bend don't break, Aaron Rodgers is fantastic in the red zone, so maybe he can make a couple extra things happen. But yeah, I think that there's way too many things in this game that are going to push us over the edge. Now that my expectations are rock bottom, who knows? Maybe something will happen. But I would love to play spoiler. It's weird, we're at home and yet we're trying to play spoiler like that. I can't remember the last time the Steelers have been in that position. Um, so yeah, but I think it's going to be a loss. I think it's going to be worse than Sunday night. I think it'll be a double-digit loss, and yeah, I think we'll really be at a crossroads after this game.
Yeah, I'm. There's no way that you can expect me to say that this one's going to be a win. I mean,
Yeah,
like I said, I truly believe that we were going to win on Sunday against the Packers. I truly believe that, and you know, they can't convince me otherwise until they actually win another game. It's kind of like last year when they went into this spiral late in the season and they just could never get out of it. You know, you can't expect me to have any optimism towards this team right now. And I think the overall consensus of the Steelers is from within and from without that this team is just not very good. Their record might be okay, but at the end of the day, we're just a 9-8 team. And we might be in contention for the division only because the other teams in our division had these injuries to their teams for several weeks to start the year. But, the Steelers are just the Steelers. We're just a 9-8 team, and, you can't expect much more from us.
yeah, and Mike Tomlin loves his 3-game plus losing streaks, and I think it's just going to happen a little bit earlier than it has in these past recent years. So yeah, we'll see. This is, I don't know, score prediction. I'll say like 35-13. I don't know.
I think we'll score more than that. I think we'll score 20. I was going to say 35-24. I mean, still a double-digit loss, but, you know, nothing really that's going to make me excited because, it would be utterly shocking for this defense to stop on a dime and turn around and be good for a week, because we haven't seen them play well since the Browns. And sure, They played a very, very good game against the Browns. But remember, it's the Browns. The Browns. This team, this Indianapolis Colts team, is putting up 34 points a game this year. It's like every single week they just score 30. So you really expect me to say, okay, the Steelers gave up 30 points to Joe Flacco. They gave up 35 points to Jordan Love. Do you really expect me to think that they're going to give up less than 30 points this week? Absolutely not.
Right. And I think that it could, something that we brushed off for the Bengals game, but I think now is like, okay, I guess we can't brush this off. Is just looking at who our wins are. It's the 1-7 Jets, the 2-6 Browns, the Vikings, who I still think, are decent because of Kevin O'Connell, but like they're obviously struggling, especially with Carson Wentz at the helm. I don't even remember
The
who
Patriots.
our other. Oh, okay, yeah, that's crazy. But I mean, that's because of 5 turnovers. But yeah, I mean, you got to look at that, and it's like, okay, like we really haven't done anything impressive this year. Like there has been nothing this year to be like, whoa, I'm impressed with this team. Everything is like, okay, yeah, you get 5 turnovers in a game, you need to win that game. That is not a oh you should. It's a you have to. And with all the other games, like all these other teams stink. So I mean, yeah, the outlook is not good.
I'll have a question for you. If they win this week, are we back? Is it that
No.
simple?
No, I think that if we win this week, it's classic. Mike Tomlin being able to play up, to the best team in the league because I think he can be competitive with those best teams because I think he prepares a little bit harder for those teams because, they're the big teams. They're the real deal. They're the ones you want to beat. And that's more in the past. Recent years, we've gotten blown out by those teams now. But I think that if they win this game, like say TJ Watt has an amazing game and Cam Hayward has an amazing game, I'm like, okay, well, I'll be here next week and say, do it twice. Do it again. Like, it's fine. You did that 1 week. Like, I don't care. You're done fooling me with the 1 game, we're back. Well, he did this, we're back. Yeah, show me you can actually do it for a season and get us a playoff win. Then we're back. Get more than 10 wins and we're back.
Okay. That's interesting. I mean, I think this would be a huge statement win. Obviously, if you beat the best team in the league, that has to be worth something. But in the same respect, I do agree with you in that, it might just be Daniel Jones reverting back to his old self. I mean, he's got to come down eventually, right? I mean, you'd have to figure.
I don't know. Is Shane Steichen the new quarterback whisperer? Has he awoken something in Daniel Jones that is Daniel Jones headed for the Hall of Fame?
That would be wild, especially given like what we talked about him last year. That like I don't think we can even. I mean, that was one of those games last year against the Giants where like we're expecting 3 turnovers, we're expecting to give up less than 20 points. He was dead in the water, and he has completely revived his career. And obviously, he's got a great supporting cast around him. He's got probably the best offensive line in football, and he's got the best running back. So obviously, he's got some help, but at the same time, he's doing exactly what he needs to do to make his team a winning team. And as far as things go, they've won 7 out of 8 times, which I would have to imagine is a winning team,
Oh, without a doubt. And I think that whatever they've just got it. They're running everything perfectly on all cylinders. So yeah, not looking forward to next week, but it's coming whether we like it or not.
All right. Last little thing. Marquez Valdez-Scantling, you touched on it just slightly. Is his connection with Aaron Rodgers, is that going to be valuable, or are you still just kind of like, going back to the fact, hey, Roman Wilson just had a career game and you still like Calvin Austin? Is this kind of just, is this just like a straw man thing where, we're just trying to redirect the attention away from our crappy defense right now?
I think so. I think that I like the guys that we have, and I think that we saw with the Jets that, the connection with Aaron Rodgers means nothing. Lazard did nothing. Heck, Devontae Adams, right? Who it was is a Green Bay like legend with the years he had with Aaron Rodgers. Couldn't do anything really with the Jets. He did fine. Like I don't think Vada Scanling's gonna come in because of the Aaron Rodgers connection. Like The Jets tried that. They got 3 Aaron Rodgers receivers, and that didn't work. So I don't think that it would work. No.
Okay, fair enough. Well, that's this episode of Boardman Black and Gold, a very, very sour episode of the Boardman Black and Gold podcast with Zane and David, which is always sponsored by Zecca Enterprises, crafting furniture solutions in northwestern Pennsylvania. You can call 919-406-4679 to turn your furniture problems into furniture solutions. Well, the Steelers might have a rude awakening, if they haven't already had one already, against the 7-1 Colts this upcoming week. We'll see what happens. It's a home game. I just don't think it really matters because the Colts are a well-run machine, and the Steelers are 9-8, as they have always been 9-8 for the past 10 seasons. So we'll see what happens. Hopefully, we'll come back after a very shocking Here We Go Steelers win. But as for Zane and David on the Boardman Black and Gold podcast, thanks for listening to this episode, and we will see you next week.